So I'm Ari Bader-Natal, and I have been working on a project over the past few years, on and off, called Sketchpad, which is based on the original etherpad code base, but recently I've been taking bits of it and trying to move it into etherpad-lite through the plugin infrastructure. So just to give you a quick picture of what it is that I was doing here, Sketchpad is a website that abuses Etherpad to act as an editor for writing little bits of code. And the code is written in processing, which is a language for writing small bits of interactive visualizations. And so the left-hand side looks familiar, and I can just render that on the right. And as I change this, you'll see this update over here. So very basic thing. And if you're interested to check it out, it's sketchpad.cc. And there are all sorts of, whoops. What is this doing? Readability, I think. Just stopped it. I don't know what that'll do. All sorts of interesting things that people have built with this. That's great. I'm going to try that again. This I just ran across recently. This is someone who built a little drawing application where, I'll give this a second, you can pick a color and draw on the screen in that color. And, right, pretty basic, but then the screenshot that he took was this, which I thought is pretty cool. So people are doing some interesting kind of cool things with it. But what I wanted to show is a project that I did over the summer, which was taking this, and what I was realizing was, let me pause this, that people are writing code and sometimes they're trying to explain something. And one of the ways that you explain something is by talking about it. And so what I wanted to do is to create a way that while you're writing code, you could talk through what it is that you're doing, and that somebody else could watch that, play back later in the way that you might with a screencast. So I'm going to show one of those. I call it a sketchcast. And this is what I have been working with John on incorporating as etherpad-lite plugin. So here, what I'm doing is, here's the editor, and I'll say record a sketchcast. Try this again. Sorry, I forgot about the Adobe Flash allow, deny. I'll give this a second. Will I? There we go. Okay, so we're recording right now. You can see the clock at the top. I'll render the sketch. I can change the background to black. I could make it narrower. I can slow it down, and I'll make it wide lines. Okay, so I can stop that, and I'll save that. And what saving it is going to do is it's going to upload the audio that I just recorded to SoundCloud. And so it's uploading. We'll give it a second. And so what I'll show in a minute is basically taking this, which is specific to code, and moving it into etherpad-lite as a plugin, so anyone could use this for anything other than code. Okay, so let's load this up. And instead of the time slider on the top, what we'll see is this widget from SoundCloud. And so this is our new time slider. And what that means is if I hit play here. There we go. Okay, so we're recording right now. You can see the clock at the top. I'll render the sketch. I can change the background to black. I could make it narrower. I can slow it down. And I'll make it wide lines. And the thing that I think is cool about that is, and you saw it was also changing the rendering on the right. One thing I think is cool about that is it means that you can pause. It means that you can, come on, SoundCloud. Oh, okay. Maybe I can show it offline afterwards. To people who want to see. But one thing that's kind of cool about this is you can, roll back to whatever point in time, and then you can clone that. And so what that means is now I have an editable version of wherever we were in that code. I could play around with it, and when I'm done with it, I could go back to essentially the screencast. So it's the screencast that doesn't involve any pixels. Okay, so basically where we're at is John and I started working on a plugin to do exactly this in etherpad-lite, and it will be there sometime soon, so stay tuned if you're interested. And I'm not running the server anyhow. But I think it's a kind of interesting way of thinking through relationship between playback and other media. So last thing I'll have to plug here is I'm also using Etherpad as part of a platform that I'm developing at Minerva Project, where we're building a new university and students are taking some of the coursework online. So in some of the small group sessions that are happening in the classes, we'll be using, I think, etherpad-lite as part of that. So if you have questions about this, we're hiring talented people, so grab me afterwards. Happy to talk about that. And last, on content editable, I have to show this. Since it didn't work on my iPhone, if you try to open up a Sketchpad editor on iPhone, it redirected you to an error message that showed that it didn't work on the iPhone, but you could run it on an old Kindle. And it did, in fact, render animations on the Kindle. So now apparently you can do it in content editable, but I thought you guys would appreciate that. So that's it. Thank you. Any questions?
Still use SoundCloud?
Yes, unless you have something better to recommend.
There's get media in there where you could get the audio straight in the browser, HTML5. But
yeah, their playback widget is HTML5. Their audio recorder right now is Flash, but it's got to just be a matter of time before they switch that to get user media. Yeah.
Did you add any new hooks to the core for these plugins that you're using, or are they using existing plugin hooks that are already in Etherpad?
So John's been doing the work on the hooks. What I could say is what I needed to change in the original Etherpad to support this is in the change sets, I think there are deltas on time between one change and the next. And I needed a little bit more than that in order to know what time to align the audio timeline with the editing. So I think I also included timestamps in terms of seconds in there. So, John, anything on new hooks that you needed to put in?
No, I think what we're deciding that we're going to do is a little workshop session after when we finish up on plugins and hooks and stuff. So chat with us then.
Great. Cool. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Isaac, you need a couple to do? So, meet Isaac.